Oh, I wish. We can just pass it back and forth.
I think we're gonna be okay here.
And back and forth between everybody. Which my Is it on your phone? We can pass the phone back and forth as we talk.
No, I'm assuming that the audio is gonna be picked up pretty soon though. So if we want to start this way and then as soon as they connect it, we'll switch over.
Yeah. All right. Technical difficulties. Okay, call to order, roll call.
Council member Riddell Harris.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Dowden Calvillo.
Present.
Holmes. And Mayor Amar.
Present. We stand for the pledge of allegiance and, Councilman Holmes. Can you do this? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So there's no commendations, proclamations, or acknowledgements, so I'll move on with the adoption of the agenda. This is a time set aside for council members and or the public to ask for removal, postponement, or change to the listed sequence of an agenda item. The agenda will be approved by consensus of the council. Do I have any changes? Public? And motion? I'll move approval of the agenda. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Consent agenda, all matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one blanket motion with a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless persons request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for discussion and separate action. Any items removed will be considered after the motion to approve the consent calendar. Do I have anyone from the council that would like to remove an item from the consent calendar? The public? Do I have a motion? I'll motion to approve the consent calendar. All in favor, no.
Council member Riddell Harris.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Dowden Calvillo. Holmes. And Mayor Amar.
Public comment. This is a time provided so that the public may speak to the council on any items not on the agenda. Please make your comments as brief as possible, not to exceed 3 minutes. The council cannot act on items not included on this agenda. Items may be referred to staff or placed on a future agenda. Are there any public comment? Well, we're just whizzing through this. Oh, Chief, do you have some?
He's the next item.
Oh, your next item. Oh, he's just quick. He's just quick. Okay, then we will move on to item number 7. The Baltimore Ravine Shaded Fuel Break Project, initial study, mitigated negative declaration and execution of professional service agreement. Thank you. Mr. Rogers.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. John Rogers, your fire chief. Thank you for the time this evening, and I'd like to begin by introducing Allison Ernie, our registered professional forester with Mason, Bruce, and Gerard. Allison and her team have been instrumental in completing the initial study, mitigated negative declaration, and providing technical expertise to support the development of our request for proposal document. I sincerely thank her and the entire Mason, Bruce, and Gerard team for their efforts in moving this project forward. I was hoping that our administrative volunteer would be here this evening, Jeff Michaels. He had a prior engagement, but I wanted to thank him for just dedicating countless of his hours also to move this project forward, and his contributions have been invaluable. Special thanks to our senior planner, Tia Klump, for her guidance throughout the entire CEQA process. Her expertise and support have been a tremendous help to the fire department, so much appreciated. And then finally, I'd like to express my gratitude to Public Works Director Angel Bean and our city attorney for their assistance with this process. Again, their support has been instrumental with bringing this before you this evening. So this is my first big project like this, so I just wanted to take a minute and thank everybody for all the assistance. So this evening, the fire department is presenting 2 items. with White Oak Land Management to perform the fuel treatment services required for the project. So just wanted to provide you with a little recap on how we got here. In 2023, the fire department applied for and was awarded a CAL FIRE wildfire prevention grant totaling just over $797,000 to complete this 4-year project. Before starting any fuel reduction work, CAL FIRE required a CEQA study to be completed and adopted by the council within 1 year of the award, and I think we're just going to squeak in there. In May of 2024, the council approved a professional services agreement with Mason, Bruce, and Gerard to assist with obtaining the environmental compliance, and the ISMND was finalized in October of 2024. With that, it went through a 30-day public comment period. During that time, the fire department hosted a virtual public forum, which was noticed online, mailed to property owners within 300 feet of the project area, and advertised through posted signage around the footprint of the project. And just an update for the virtual public forum, we only had one resident that attended, and they were supportive of the project. We only received one other comment, which came through the Central Valley Regional Water Quality Board, and their letter is attached in the council packet. So following the completion of the ISMND document, staff issued an RFP for phase 1 of the project, which includes approximately 120 acres of hand cutting and mechanical thinning of dense vegetation along the west edge of the Baltimore Ravine adjacent to I-80. And there should be a color map on the dais for you. With our RFP process, we received 9 proposals to complete phase 1, and staff is recommending that White Oak Land Management be awarded the contract as the most qualified, responsible, and responsive contractor. And with that, both Allison and I, as well as Tia, are available to answer any questions you may have regarding the CEQA study process or the RFP.
Was that the lowest proposal? You had 9 proposals, the one you selected?
We had 9, and they were the most qualified, and they also came in as the lowest.
Okay. And then just another quick little question here. I think it's correct on your backup, but on our resolution it says 327,000, but it's really 323,000. Is that right? 750,000. 323,750.
$323,750 is what
Okay.
the proposal
it's
from
different.
White Oak Land Management.
Yeah.
So is the resolution then correct when we make a motion to adopt the resolution? Does the
No, it's incorrect.
So the
it's-
resolution would need to be amended to incorporate?
Well, the
Yes, the resolution has the wrong number, right? Amy
well, the
said,
one, okay, the one on the first 2 pages, I think in the packet it's, okay. The
So
back-
page 94 that I printed is the resolution authorizing the award of professional services agreement to White Oak Land Management for fuel treatment services for the Baltimore Ravine Shaded Fuel Break Project. And it's asking for an amount not to exceed $323,750.
and that's the correct amount?
And if I
Yes,
look
that's-
at our 323,750 was what the proposal.
Okay, so the
was.
staff report is,
It's the staff.
okay, got it. So no changes are needed on the resolution?
Did I transpose a number?
Yeah, we just.
Oh, I see on the first one,
Yeah,
327,750. That's my error, and
Okay.
apologies.
But the resolution is good, so we don't
Yeah,
have
the
to change
resolution is
that.
good. And it's 120 acres, right?
It's approximately 120 acres. It's just shy of that.
Okay. Any questions?
And if
from-
you look at the map, there is 59 acres of it is hand cut and chipped. 14 acres is hand cut, and we're doing lop and scatter. And 47 of the acres are for mastication.
All right.
And that's the phase 1. And then we'll be coming back at the end of 2025, beginning of 2026 for phase 2 of the project.
So phase 1 is happening when again?
So as soon as the contract is awarded
Okay,
and signed, I'll work with the
Got it.
contractor, and my hopes is to get them started within 30 days.
okay,
Mm,
perfect.
wow.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Mhm.
So you're requesting the adoption of a mitigated neg deck. What were the mitigation factors? What do we have to do to mitigate?
Let me ask Allison to step up here.
Just curious.
Good evening. So there are a lot of mitigation factors. It would be a lot to list, but
Oh,
at the end of that ISMND is what's called a mitigation monitoring and reporting plan. And that's a pretty good summary of the exact mitigations that we'll be implementing. So there's biological ones, there's noise ones,
okay.
things like that.
Is that on, I see. I'll say the mitigation measures 4.8.2 greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah.
geologic soils and so forth. Okay, so, and we have a mitigation monitoring plan. I see. Okay, got it.
What
There it
page-
is.
what page?
It starts on page 196 of our packet. So thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that. Also, I just, wanted to say for the purposes of the record that I think this is a great project. I was incredibly supportive and very happy that we were awarded that grant. This is almost $1 million to do this work, this absolutely important work. I know that the Firewise community over there, Jack Farless, they, are very pleased to see this moving forward and just very grateful that we were able to obtain these funds to conduct this work and keep our, keep our residents and keep our city safe. So I'm incredibly supportive and thank everyone involved. So.
Any other comments or questions? Public? Thumbs up. So yes, thank you. Wonderful project. Thank you, Chief Rogers. We appreciate the hard work. And again, this is through a grant, so looks like you're going to go forward. Thank you. So do we have a we have a resolution? Do I have a motion?
This is a public hearing. Do we have to do
Yeah.
anything official for the public hearing? Okay,
We open public comment or public hearing.
okay. Want to make sure.
Open public comment?
Go ahead.
Okay, public
Yes.
comment is open. Any public comment? I will close public comment.
Yeah, good.
Okay, can I have a,
I'll make a
Motion?
motion, Madam Mayor, that I move that by resolution, we adopt the initial study mitigating neg deck and mitigation monitoring and reporting plan prepared for the Baltimore Ravine Shaded Field Break Project and authorize the fire chief to submit the notice of determination and that we authorize the city manager to execute the professional services agreement with White Oak Land Management for field treatment services for the Baltimore Ravine Shaded Field Break Project not to exceed $323,750.
Second.
thank you. Was there a second?
Councilman
Mr. Holmes.
Olmsted.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Councilmember Riddell Harris.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Dowden Calvillo.
Aye.
Holmes.
All right.
Mayor Amara.
Yes, thank you. That passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now on to council business, the Youth Advisory Commission update. We will receive an update from the commission.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, City Council, City Manager, community members. My name is Jamie Ross. This is Sarah Liebert. We've been honored to participate in our Youth Advisory Commission, bringing together the youth in Auburn to kind of hear what's important to them and then how we can support those actions. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of update. We've been meeting since around October, every third Thursday of the month, except for December. And we've been kind of planning, we had a little bit of a short time, so we've just been planning what are the roles of the commission, how do we interact with the city council, with our community, what are our responsibilities, and then how do we address those? So we have provided a scope statement for the Auburn Youth Advisory Commission. And I'm just going to go ahead and read our project purpose. The purpose of the Youth Commission is to serve as an advocate for youth in Auburn and surrounding areas by addressing their wishes, concerns, and viewpoints. The commission aims to foster greater community involvement among young people, educate both the youth and the general public about the workings of the local government, and elevate youth issues to the attention of the Auburn City Council. With that, we've put together some goals and objectives. And advocacy and awareness, community engagement, youth empowerment, service commitment. Commission members have roles and responsibilities also. But just to backtrack a little bit, the main goal is to educate our community and our students on what's going on, get some active feedback, really, really listen, and then how do we take that feedback and put it into either a project or some kind of proposal to the city so that you are aware of what's going on with our youth. I can tell you right now, our biggest issue is that there's not enough to do for our students, and we know that, so we're working on some things that we can do together. We're focusing on partnerships. So this year, every year, the Youth Advisory Commission will have a project. And since we've kind of had such a short time, our project was to get together what the roles are for the Youth Advisory Council. And our project is also to raise some monies for the next commission that comes in so that they have money already for their project. We're also looking at maybe working with Placer High School and possibly Rotary. They do a wellness, they're like little wellness closets. So for students that may need deodorant, which we all know our students need, or toothbrushes or toothpaste or something that maybe they had forgotten or don't have at home, they can go to these little closets and pull out what they need. So we're looking to maybe support this project or really something that's already going on so we can do a collaborative effort. And yes, any questions?
I was gonna say too, I just want to say thank you to Jamie and Sarah, and then also all the really excited youth. We have some really engaged.
Oh, I bet.
They want to save everybody and do everything.
You want to
And
save the
so
puppies.
they want to save all the animals, and trying to get them to focus has been the more of the challenge. But that's just because they have so much energy and they're so excited about helping their community that's a great thing to see. We wanted to get kind of feedback on the ideas that we came up with, the scope and things. And then once we have those, we're going to go back and officially approve them through the council and then bring them back and just put them on consent. So that's why we don't have them necessarily in front of you. We were just kind of throwing out some ideas, and then we were going to kind of finalize things, and then it will come back to the council as an official scope.
That was a question I was going to ask, because I know with all of our other committees, we do that. So
Yeah,
I
so
appreciate that.
yeah, we just decided to kind of just give a general update and just kind of talk through some ideas and see if there's any feedback before we went and finally approved it and sent it to council.
I do have a question, and actually something that you said kind of raised a bigger question that I've had, and something that I've been talking with our city manager about, and that is raising funds and looking at this holistically, not just the Youth Commission, but all of our committees and commissions. Right now, there's not the authority for them to raise monies except SHAC. SHAC has the authority through their enabling resolution because they assess a fee for the tiles, right? But as the city's budget is tighter, our committees and commissions budgets are also tighter. And I know that there has been a request from a couple of committees about, and this is what really stemmed from you mentioned this, to raise funds. And I've asked our city manager to work with our attorney and maybe bring something back for all of us, for discussion purposes on whether or not, how we want to address this issue of committees and commissions raising funds, how we control how those funds are spent. There has to be some parameters, right? So every committee is functioning the same way with regards to raising funds and what they're using them for, and projects that have to be approved by the council first, lots of those kinds of things. So just that it reminded me that we are working on something to bring back to the council for continuity purposes for all the committees and commissions.
So because we know that that's not allowed, one of the things we were looking at doing is partnering with a nonprofit that also serves youth and raising the money with them. They could keep it and then spend it on. So we were just rather
Working
than
with
us,
them.
rather than us having to have our own bank account here
Yeah.
and dealing with all the logistics of having to keep track of that money, we were looking to partner with a
Yeah,
youth
and then so
organization
you would just work with that nonprofit to help them raise the funds to use.
for the purposes that we were planning on using it.
Sure, and which I think some other entities are, and that's separate. 'Cause
You have any more for the youth, though? You have any other?
No, that just was something that triggered in my mind. I think it's great. I'm happy to hear. Thank you so much for bringing this to us and keeping us apprised. Looking forward to when we can finally adopt those. So having worked with youth commissions in the past, I know how much energy, and you've got some young ones, so they really.
That's my question. I should know this. What is the age or the ages of the kids on the commission?
Yes, and so we do have 12 youth commissions, and we have 3 adults. We're also trying to get another adult from ARD to participate, to get that input. We have middle schoolers. I think our youngest is 7th grade from Auburn Union School District. And then we're also working up with seniors that are in Placer High School. So you get that mentor, that peer-to-peer mentorship as well, which we're already seeing. Our seniors and some of our juniors in high school are taking over the agendas, and we have secretaries, right? So our fearless leader, Rachel Vidal Harris, we're so grateful for her and her amazing energy. She's been able to kind of hone that in and really be a mentor to these students so that they can start.
One thing I'm interested in, and I was talking to, the school, the elementary school has a new leadership teacher. That's Miss Zimmerman, Danielle Zimmerman.
Daniela Zimmerman.
And she's full of energy and enthusiasm as well. And we were talking, and I think it'd be really good for your commission if they would be able to attend the city council meeting. And I'm thinking maybe we could have one meeting this year that we could have in the daytime, so that the kids from the school can come and they don't have to wait until, well, they will come if it's daytime and they get out of school. So anyway, that's just a thought, and I think it'd be good for them to actually come and sit through a meeting and see what we're all about.
And the greatest thing is that we're also looking at maybe planning some city field trips, because the whole goal is for them to be educated so that they can then educate our youth and our community. So I think what you're saying is brilliant. We really need it. I'm hoping when we do the next presentation that they're the ones doing that.
Yeah, that'd
So
be great.
And they will be presenting their project at the end of the school year too. So maybe we can combine the two or something.
Yeah.
else.
That'd be
That would
great.
fun.
Yeah,
That'd
that'd
be
be
awesome.
wonderful.
And
So
the-
thank you.
I was just going to say, the other issue is just, or the other item is just, the Placer County Youth Commission is a very vibrant commission. They are structured much differently, and they actually have county staff assigned to them because, the county is a lot different than the city, but they have some good, there might be some things in there that you can take a look at and see how they're doing things, and that you might be able to utilize with our youth commission as well. So.
and we're looking at maybe attending one with some. of
Oh,
our
that would
students
be,
as well.
yeah. 'Cause
So that
they
is something we're
alternate
aware of.
between the Rockland Library and the Auburn Library. I think it's like once a month on Wednesday, or twice. They meet twice a month on Wednesdays. And so, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Councilman Holmes, did you have?
Well,
Dan?
I've got a suggestion that if any of your members for the Youth Advisory Commission are juniors at Placer High School,
Too.
we will be selecting candidates to go to Boys and Girls State this summer, usually in June, to spend a week at Sacramento State and learn more about government and that sort of thing. So you might make them aware. So they're juniors who would then come back as seniors
Right.
and be much more aware of what
Like that.
what government is all about. So
And we may even have a 7th grader. We call him Professor X. He may be interested. I don't know what the age limit is, but we do have some really brilliant students that want to engage more closely in our political system.
well, they need to be juniors
Okay,
at high school level so that they, when they come back, they would be seniors and then can participate in all that. So
brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Oh, Kelly, Councilwoman
I just want to
Davis.
say thank you. I'm super excited to see youth get a more voice in our city. And second, I think what you said is that the youth will get to be in the hot seat here making presentations, and that'd be awesome. Thanks.
Hopefully, we'll make it a part of their grade.
Any public comment? Okay. Well, I want to thank you very much for having the patience and coming forward. Starting is the hardest part. And you started, and thank you for the update, and thank you for your hard work.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the next item is the certified local government, and our city manager is going to introduce that.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. So You have a staff report in your packet with several attachments, but to kind of just set the groundwork for this. So this was actually requested by Councilmember Mike Holmes and Mayor Sandy Amara to be put on the agenda. I have that, like,
Yeah.
breaking people up all the time. So council's actually considered this item on three previous occasions. The most recent was July 25th, 2022, when a consensus of the council directed staff to not pursue the designation. And then I have an attachment that shows that. It was also discussed in June 11th, 2012, where the council voted 4-1 to not pursue that designation. Then also council discussed it during the August 10th, 2020 council meeting, and then also decided not to pursue the designation. So the certified local government designation is a program of the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966. And what the program does is it encourages the direct participation of local governments in the identification, evaluation, and preservation of historic properties within their jurisdiction, and then promotes the integration of local preservation interests and concerns into local planning, run by national parks and then also through the State Historic Preservation Office, or SHPO. Bunch of different stuff in your council packet. The long and the short of what staff's recommendations. So staff's recommend the council not pursue this program right now. And of particular concern to staff is it's duplicative. The program's duplicative of what we already does. We already have a historic design review process, which is frankly pretty robust. We've been very proactive in protecting structures throughout the city by placing historically significant structures on the National Register. There's also different parameters about the program that give staff pause, including that the Historic Preservation Commission, which would be a new commission that we would need to establish to work through this designation. They'd be required to provide input into CEQA documents prepared for the city, which would slow down our ability to move forward with potential commercial development. So any CEQA document, California Environmental Quality Act, any CEQA document that comes to the council, so the mitigated negative declaration that the fire chief brought forward would need to be reviewed by this commission before council could take action on it. Staff also has concerns about how the program could negatively impact the city's ability to implement form-based code and other long-term planning activities. There's no other communities in Placer County that have this designation. The nearest to Auburn would be Truckee or Sacramento. And then also the impact to city staff is of concern to me. We only have 2 people in the community development department where this program would reside, and we just really don't have the capacity to add new programs, while at the same time we're working on the city's general plan update and the zoning code update, potential annexation plans that we just talked about, and all the other kind of foundational things that we need to get set up. I didn't put this in the staff report, but I did speak to the city historian about this afternoon, and she had a couple comments on it as well. If I could ask Carol to come up, kind of put you on the spot, and then both of us can answer questions, obviously, from council.
Yeah, Carol, thank you for coming. I had requested Sean to have you here, and so I think your input's important. We've been talking about this over and over, so.
Well, good evening. A couple of things. Number one is, as a historian, of course, I'm in favor of anything we can possibly do to preserve, make the community aware of our preservation, and to maintain our preservation. That's my, anything we can do. This particular program is very, very, very robust in a way. As the city manager mentioned, it does duplicate some of the things that we already have in place. The other concern is not a concern, but I think everyone needs to be aware. including Mr. Holmes, is that this doesn't happen overnight. You probably heard him say, all of these documents have to be prepared, all of this stuff has to be done. It is exceedingly complex. It doesn't just happen overnight. But overall, I really think that anything that we can do to help preserve Auburn is an opportunity that, we can't say no to particularly, but we have to be aware of the, what the end product is. And I have to say, like I said at the beginning, preservation, awareness, and maintenance are two high criteria. And, if this project designation assists those, then it is very worthwhile. Thank you. Do you have any other questions for me?
I
Well,
just have
we
a,
don't want to put you on the spot, but first of all, I want to thank you for being here and discussing this and listening and reading, and there is a lot to it. for you.
Right, yeah.
But Councilwoman Dowden.
thank you. Just, I appreciate preservation and awareness. I understand you're our city historian and we want you to take that outlook. So we really appreciate that. And not being a certified local government does not prevent us or preclude us from doing those things at all. We can be as robust in preservation and awareness and education as we want to be. There's by no means a requirement that we become a certified local government to achieve those goals. So I just wanted to say that for the purposes of the record, is that those things are not just tied to participation in this project. They can happen anyway. So, and thank you so much for taking your time, and thank you for volunteering your services to our city. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Wait, any other
I-
questions for?
I'm not sure if it's for you, but thank you so much for being here, or maybe for Sean. Is there any, I know that preservation and our history is very important to many residents here, and that we take an extensive, we do spend a lot of time preserving our history. We have a lot of great museums. We have our historic design review. Has there been any concerns brought up from any of the residents that we're not preserving or doing the level of due diligence around historical preservation that we should be doing right now? Has that been brought up to any of you?
I mean, I think the only thing that I've heard about is the Lawyers Row building being taken down. That was several years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And from what I understand, the owner, the building had to be taken down because it was structurally unsound,
Okay.
right? And it was falling down. The owner was going to replace it, and that hasn't happened yet. But there's other ways to prevent that kind of thing from happening. Like when I was in Cedar Creek, we had a prohibition against demolition of historic structures that would do the same thing to stop that from happening.
Okay.
Unless it was structurally unsound and all
So
that.
we can address all the concerns that people are having without having to do this extensive administrative process.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know that this would actually solve any potential preservation problem either. It just provides another, frankly, I think it creates a cumbersome new way of looking at our historic resources that we don't necessarily gain anything from. It does provide for the ability to get grants, and I talked about this a little bit in the staff report, right? There's the ability to get grants, but that's really the only benefit that I can see. I'll also say anecdotally that I spoke to a former city manager of a city who has the certified local government designation, and his response, when I told them, we were considering this, his response was that they didn't see any benefit in his community really at all, and it created another layer of getting for folks to have to jump through for anything that's like a remodel or increasing commercial space or anything like that. So
Weren't we also discussing as a council, like a couple months ago, about trying to keep fees low by making things more direct and easy during the permitting process. And isn't that part of the point of the form-based code to make it, because we haven't been doing a lot of fixing up our buildings and things like that in
Yeah,
Old Town
yeah.
and downtown?
Yeah.
So this would make that more challenging.
It probably would. And it would also make more challenging, like I said,
The sequence.
because of the way the statute and the program is written, any CEQA document that was going to come to council would need to be reviewed by the commission first. So like the forest thing, maybe that wouldn't, because you're not dealing with specific structures, but it potentially could, because if there's an archaeological site out there or whatever. I just, yeah.
So
Right.
you think that we can meet the goals that we're trying to achieve?
I think that we're already
Like,
meeting the goals that we're trying, that for preservation for sure. And if there's a specific concern about losing historic resources and buildings because there would be potentially be torn down, there's ways to address that through demolition prohibition ordinances.
Okay, great.
That's
Thank you.
good. Yeah, my question is, are there grants out there that we're applying for? Are you aware of any, that right now?
Yes,
There's so many grants. Yes? Can you answer that?
yes.
Oh, okay. There are grants and we are applying.
Well, I brought this up again because,
Oh, wait, before you go there, I'll let you go there. But my point being, I haven't really heard of the upside of joining the certified local government. I mean, other than grants, but I also read that there is a small pot of money that is, so it's pretty difficult. I mean, do we have the ability to get grants for historical preservation and awareness through other means or opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, we apply for grants for different, like the Carnegie Library, for example, is applying for a grant from T-Mobile of all places for the windows in the building. So there's different grant sources
Public-private.
through SHPO, so through the State Historic Preservation Organization. There's grants that we can get specifically from them as well that aren't tied specifically to the
Yeah.
certified local government
Okay.
designation too.
Tied to that, Madam Mayor, I had spoken with the State Historic Preservation Officer a couple years ago, because this has come before us multiple times. And I talked to her, it was someone that I had worked with in the past. And I talked to her about Auburn and that we have a historic preservation ordinance and about the grants. And she said the grants are minimal and that she would not, she said, honestly, I would not recommend that what you've already got in place and what you've told me, I would not recommend that for the city of Auburn. The grants are incredibly competitive there. And right now the state is in a deficit. And so they've got even less money. So because, is the governor going to fund state historic preservation or education?
Right.
So
I
it's.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And, but in all fairness, I agreed to put it on with Councilman Holmes because I think it's important to have a robust discussion here. And because quite honestly, other times we've had this before us, I don't, know if it's been as much of a discussion, and I really want to have a good, robust discussion. And so Councilman Holmes, you were going to explain, please do.
are you going to be robust?
Please be robust.
Well, yeah, I think, Auburn is the self-proclaimed endurance capital of the world. And there are no other communities in Placer County that have certified local government designation. I would like to point out that in this past year, the grants from those communities that are certified local governments included the city of Glendale, Riverside, San Diego, San Francisco, Santa Barbara, and the county of Santa Cruz. The grants are up to $40,000. And I think we would have a good opportunity to qualify for some of those if we pursue certified local government status. Because there are a number of things that we could use the grants for that would even emphasize the historic nature of this community up above and beyond what we are already doing. So, I would like to
There's
ask.
a lot of strings attached too, right, to the grants. And one question, the other question is Truckee, you said, is a certified local government. Is anyone aware if they've received any grants?
I didn't see him in this past round. That was 23, 24. Councilmember Holmes was saying it was
Santa Cruz.
LA, Riverside, Pomona, Sacramento, Santa Barbara, and Carmel. All of them got 40,000 from what Councilman Holmes sent me this past. But, you know, if you look at cities like Sacramento and Riverside and
Or large.
certainly, yeah, right.
Mhm.
Well, I think to have another grant opportunity by that, with having that designation, would give us an opportunity to pursue some other historical aspects of our community that we may have overlooked. And so I'd like to suggest that we move forward, and I think between the city historian and myself, we can put together the grant, the certified local government designation and bring it back to city council for approval and then proceed.
Well,
Yes.
okay, the other question I have is, I know like in sustainability, we have different categories of people that have to be on the committee. These categories here are really difficult, I think, would be difficult to fill. Prehistoric archaeology, historic archaeology, architect, maybe not so much, but
Tech, we have.
I don't, it just, anybody else have any comments?
I do.
Okay,
With all due respect, and Mike, you know that I respect your passion for historic preservation because it's very strong. And you know, I am also a friend of historic preservation. Someone, Sandy, your family's been here a long time. But
I've been here a long time.
truly, this particular program would make us eligible potentially for very small grants. And to me, it's simply not worth the amount of work and additional burdens placed on staff. And it would slow down our ability to move forward with like our form-based code, things of that nature. And it concerns me so that, you know, all this work and all this effort to make us eligible for a very slim, small pot of money. And I just can't support that. I can't support the duplication with regards, you know, our community, and when I talk to the SHPO, you know, our community has a historic preservation ordinance. We have a historic preservation design review committee. We have protections in place. And so we're already achieving those goals with those measures. As we've heard, we don't have any complaints about not doing enough to preserve. And if Councilman Holmes is just looking for additional monies, there are so many strings attached to this program that just does not make it worth it. There are other grants that may be out there that would help us to preserve and make aware that are not as labor intensive and as restrictive as this particular program. You know, this is a program that's really meant for those that don't have a historic preservation task force or ordinance already in place. It's just so duplicative and there's so many strings attached, and there are other monies that are available. And I just cannot support this. The other thing that's a little frustrating, and we have discussed this issue on multiple levels, and nothing has changed with regards to the certified local government program. There haven't been more monies awarded or any change to the program, but we've talked about this even 2 years ago, but we keep talking about it. With all due respect, there are many issues that come before this council, well, some that die, and we don't keep revisiting them. You know, and this is even the process of revisiting is causing more effort for staff and us and so forth. And that's a little bit frustrating to me as well, is that I don't know how many times we have to talk about this before we stop talking about it. I do respect, Madam Mayor, you're looking for the robust discussion, and that's why I'm making these comments now. I'm making robust comments. So thank you, with all due respect.
Excellent, excellent,
you.
thank you. Any other council?
Should we do public comment before we do?
Um,
Or
well, we could.
should we let our historian sit down?
Yeah, public comment? Do we have any public comment? Other than Carol?
Just wanted to check.
Okay,
Well-
what I have to say is, I would be supportive if, if I saw a greater benefit. I agree, and I love your passion, Councilman Holmes. I totally love it. It's important. And I like your persistence too. You got it on again. But anyway, what I really want to say is that, we do need improvement. I think there's room for improvement. I think that bringing this up makes me even more aware. Like Lawyers Row, I was on the planning commission when that went through. So were you. And it sits there that we were promised that those bricks, which are historic, would remain there, and now they're gone. So, we do need to continue with preserving our history, keep creating an awareness. I think a better use of our time, rather than creating another commission, is to become more aware. Maybe get a committee of locals who can really help us apply for grants. Some grants that would really help us, and not have to put this extra layer that, I respect what our city manager says. Apparently it's cumbersome, and it's a better use of our time, I think, would be for us to really become more involved with grants that we can go after. We can go after. There's a lot of grants out there. So again, I do respect what you have to say, and I respect you, Councilman Holmes. But from what I can see right now, I don't think that this is a worthwhile project for our city at this point. So if any other council people have anything to add, okay.
Yes.
Councilman Holmes, go ahead. This is a robust discussion.
Okay. Well, I want to point out that it doesn't necessarily mean we have to have another commission. But becoming a certified local government does give us straight access to SHPO, State Office of Historical Preservation, and gives us more authority to discuss with them various issues of historic nature.
Well, how do you become a certified local government without having the commission set up this way? Is that possible?
What's that?
City manager.
I mean, one of the requirements of the program is to have the
Committee set up,
It's called-
structured the way.
Historic Preservation Commission. You could, I guess, take the existing historic committee that we have and transfer that over,
But you
rename
have
them.
to add membership and
You would
their-
have to
and
meet
their
the requirements of the,
responsibilities
right.
Expand. You have to add members. all
Can I,
those.
can I make a motion to?
Wait, just make,
Okay.
are we finished discussing? Anything else? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Can I make a motion that we provide that we provide direction not to proceed with the certified local government?
I'll second.
Do we need a motion?
Well,
We can.
We're supposed to be providing.
You certainly can. Yeah, the agenda is
Yeah.
to provide direction, and agenda and a motion and a vote would certainly provide that.
Okay,
I've seconded, Madam Mayor.
okay, thank you.
Ready for a roll call? Council members Riddell Harris.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Dowden Calvillo.
Aye.
Holmes.
No.
Mayor Amara.
Yes. Thank you. Then that. The rest of our business. We go to now the city manager report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple quick things. Most of us were at the 2025 Chamber of Commerce Annual Installation and Award Dinner this past Friday. That was a great event. And then being able to honor incoming chamber officers and local business award winners. There's a list of the winners in the city manager report that you have at the dais and is in the back for folks. On the police department side, Officer Hopping recently went above and beyond to assist a stranded motorist on Highway 49 during his night shift. So he encountered an elderly woman whose car had broken down due to a missing fan belt, leaving her battery unable to charge. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, the officer took it upon himself to visit O'Reilly's, purchase a replacement fan belt, and then installed it on her car on the side of the road. Yeah. So I want to say thanks to him for his kindness and resourcefulness. And then the woman was able to continue on her journey home safely. Two more things quickly. For the next 2 weeks, Officer Hatcher's been, for over 2 weeks, Officer Hatcher's been serving with the Army National Guard, providing mutual aid in response to the Palisades fire. So we have fire personnel who went down and came back just, I think this past weekend. They were down there for about 2 weeks as well. And then we also have Officer Hatcher, who's down there working with the Army National Guard, providing critical security and evacuation efforts to protect those impacted by the fire. Couldn't be prouder of him for stepping up this time of need. And then we extend our heartfelt thanks to Officer Hatcher for his hard work and his sacrifice, and we're waiting for him to return safely. And then last but not least, one of the winners of, I think it was Entrepreneur of the Year, at the Chamber Award dinner, Dallas Drake, who also purchased the old Wells Fargo building, submitted his plan. So Community Economic Development Development Department has received the draft plan for what can be best described as an entertainment venue and tap room. That project's going to occupy the first floor of the main building, offering both indoor and outdoor spaces. We're reviewing the interior renovations at this stage. But the exterior improvements will need to undergo historic design review because the property is located within the historic design review area, even though it's not it's not on the historic register. Once form-based codes adopted, projects like that may no longer require that hearing process for review, and we'll be able to get them through quicker. That's it. I can answer questions if you have any questions. There's a lot more stuff in there, though.
Sean, can I ask a question? Can I ask a general question?
Of course.
I noticed nothing, I think, happened at the roundabout in terms of even covering like the hole with the cone in it. So I don't know if Caltrans followed up on anything. The pothole.
I thought that they did, but I'll find out.
The hole with a cone.
Yeah. Okay.
They probably did, and then it got uncovered again, because every time someone takes that corner,
Yeah.
they need something more permanent.
We'll reach out to Caltrans specifically and ask them to please fix the pothole that's breaking people's tires.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. We have the future agenda items.
Oh, we have city council. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we
President.
have. So this is a new item on our agenda that we put on to give council the opportunity to talk about potential future items that you want to bring back to help kind of streamline what we're doing with council. So it's the first time that you've seen it. It's not going to be the last time you see it because we're going to continue to keep that on. So if there's anything specific that you want us to look at, have the conversation quickly. If you can get council buy-in on that, we can put it on.
And that would
So
be,
you mean to put on an agenda on the item? I mean, on
Put an
the,
item on the agenda for a
an
future
item on the
meeting.
agenda?
but that would be with a majority
Right.
direction
Yeah.
versus 2 members. It would be, so for example, if I wanted to bring an item on the agenda to adopt a new mascot for the city of Auburn, then 2 of you would have to agree with me to do that, to put it on an agenda item, correct?
Yes.
Which is how most other organizations work.
Yes.
They normally require a
Well,
majority.
you can still get 2 people to put it on, right?
Yes, right now.
I mean, so this would change that?
We're looking at changing the process for, just to make things more streamlined for council and for staff. Not only that, but the entire policy that we have about the way the meetings are run, things are put on the agenda. So city attorney and I have been working on that, bringing it back, hopefully probably end of February.
So, wait, so is that legal then to, I mean, so we can abolish the opportunity for two council people to put something on the agenda is what I hear we're saying.
That will not be abolished. You still have a policy in place that was adopted in 2014 that's still in effect. So that process can still be used separate from this, where
Okay.
two of you can still go to Sean, to your city manager.
But that
and
policy
ask him.
could be, we could,
Change that. policy.
yes, we could,
Yeah.
we can.
Yeah, separate from
eliminate that,
this,
yes.
you absolutely can change that policy. That was adopted by resolution, and staff will be coming to you with a discussion perhaps at the end of February, early this year, with a couple proposals and to get feedback from you all on that process. But until then, that stays in effect, that process for two council members to do it. And then this is a separate process, motion second, and then a majority vote.
Most boards use either Rosenberg or
Roberts.
Robert's Rules of Orders, which requires 3 people to bring something back, and if something, or put something on the agenda,
Mhm.
and then if you've had something on the agenda, somebody would have to change their vote in order for it to come back. We've had several things that have just kind of, even though they've been voted down, been brought back several times by 2
Right.
people, and that makes it so we have to rehash the same issue over and over again. So that's why in those rules that normally that's not done. And in that case, you wouldn't be able to discuss putting something on the agenda without being in a public meeting, because you can't have a discussion of a public item
Right.
with 3 people because of the Brown Act. So
That's right.
this item allows us, if we decide to change our, and in general, I've asked since I was on council, how do you put something on the agenda? It seems weird for me to call up Kelly and say, hey, do you want to put something on the agenda, rather than it being in a public forum where we as a council decide what we want to put on the agenda. So
Yep.
I've brought that up, that was confusing for me because I've always been on other boards where these rules have been, and this is something that Auburn has decided to tweak for some reason 10 years ago. So.
Yeah, and there is a balance because you all meet, of course, only twice a month. And so staff has to put things on and your city manager has to think about an agenda. So most cities come up with some process, right? And it's either just this on the agenda where you have this discussion and it requires the 2 steps to get something on an agenda, or it's something less than that. And in the past, this council has chosen to adopt a policy that allows another process, but it doesn't have to be like that.
You know, and there's pros and cons. So it takes time to discuss what goes on. That's a whole another long
Mhm.
period of time.
One of the concerns that I've had since I've been here is with the 2 council member process, that it's almost inviting a potential Brown Act violation, because if you ask somebody to put something on
And they
with
said
you
no.
and support it and they say no, then you either don't do it, or you could reach out to somebody else.
Mhm.
If you reach out to somebody else and you've created a serial meeting.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't do that, obviously.
But then your item doesn't,
And there's no place
Well,
to
you
bring
can
it
al-
up unless you wanted to bring it up
Right.
here.
You can bring it up here.
Yeah, so this creates that
That's-
space to bring it up.
yeah, now there's a space for that.
Okay. City council committee reports.
I have,
Councilman Holmes?
Yes, a couple of things I wanted to point out. One of the big economic attractions for the city of Auburn is the Auburn State Theater. And they're in the process, as you know, of rebuilding inside the theater itself, but they're also going to modify the entrance area to make it, well, there's been a need for more restrooms, particularly for ladies. So that's in the works to do that, and also
powder room enhancements?
not enhancements, but more of them.
Yes.
More of them.
And also I wanted to mention, I've been working with Congressman Kiley's office about the Station A post office to see if we can't do something to move that along,
Oh, good.
to get that back open.
Great. Thank you. That's wonderful. You've kind of been the committee person there.
Yes.
Okay.
Self-designated.
Councilwoman Dowden Cavillo?
Yes, just a couple things. I wanted to announce that I have the great honor of being chair of Pioneer Community Energy once again. I was just recently elected by the board to serve in my 4th year as chair. So very honored to be able to continue to serve in that capacity as we move towards expansion. And serving, and saving our customers money with their energy costs. Also, I was actually appointed chair of the policy committee for SACOG as well. And so I'll be assuming that role, well, I'm assuming it now, and I'll be actually back in DC in a couple of weeks. I think we have a council meeting on that day, so I'll be participating in that remotely with advocacy efforts on behalf of SACOG, and then also attending the National Association of Regional Councils conference that's back there at the same time. And so that's in a couple of weeks. Placer County Transportation Planning Agency, we had a meeting last week and we adopted the preliminary draft 25-year regional transportation plan transportation project list, which includes the Highway 49 sidewalk gap closure project, which has about a $20 million budget. And work on that within the city limits is scheduled this spring and hopefully, or actually spring of 2026. And hopefully will be finished that fall of 2026. And that will be to install sidewalks along Highway 49 in the city limits and beyond where they don't currently exist. So we took that action and that's all that except with the Endurance Capital of the World Committee, we met a couple weeks ago as well. And they also are interested in raising some additional funds to support projects that they previously had budgeted, but now that our budget, all the committee budgets were sliced, they are unable to fund those things. And that's also what really prompted discussions with both Sean and Gary about their ability and all of the committee's ability to raise some additional monies when there are no city funds available. So that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Councilwoman Davis? Okay, Councilwoman Riddell Harris.
We all were at the meeting before this, but just to give everyone in the public a highlight, we were, if you weren't on the meeting before this, we did talk about the general plan and that is moving along, and also talked about the land uses and possible annexation areas. And so that's the general plan process is moving forward. So we're excited about that. And then the Youth Advisory Commission, we did the presentation tonight, but we're also looking at doing more presentations. The city manager is going to come and present, and we're going to go to the wastewater treatment plant soon and maybe do some other tours and staff events. So that'll be fun too. So that's all I had.
Thank you so much. On that
landfill.
note, I was at the selection committee and for the LAFCO, and the commission appointments are for RAN Board, Mayor Ring, Truckee, Tahoe Airport Land Use Commission, City of Lincoln, Council Member Pearl, alternate Rachel Riddell Harris. I assigned you that. Alternate. And then for the LAFCO, the primary seat, City of Lincoln, will be Council Member Eklund. Seat 1 alternate, City of Rockland, Council Member Bass. Seat 2 primary, City of Colfax, Mayor Lohman. Seat 2 alternate, City of Loomis, Council Member Youngblood. So that happened at the selection committee last week. And I attended the a big shout out to Ty, went to the airport school.
Oh yeah, scholarships, right?
Scholarship function. And I'm telling you, that was wonderful. And I told Ty, the only thing is everybody was looking where to go. And there was a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of enthusiasm. I am totally impressed with the pilot school and the kids' opportunities. And when they finish that, they come out with $200,000, jobs they can get potentially. So that was very impressive. Then sustainability. I think our city manager was a little remiss here. I don't think he put the front lawn project in everybody's box like I told him. Anyway, that the architecture who volunteered from Yamasaki, Teresa Faro, did a beautiful job of doing the the architectural plan for the landscape in front of City Hall and the police. And so it'll be on the agenda in a couple weeks or February sometime. I don't have any of my, I forgot all my notes. But anyway, the other important thing was the Downtown Business Association. Jonathan and Menjel were there. That was a robust meeting. And so I won't talk too much about that other than their signage is coming along, and Canyons event, the endurance event, we're trying to encourage them to stay open. We need our businesses open late and open up early. So that's in the works. There's other businesses in town. They're very supportive of the vacancy ordinance that we were looked at. And also they were able to see the landscaping in front of City Hall, very supportive. Also pickleball, again, ARD is, again, a wonderful partner. They've donated toilets. I think you read city manager's report, and we're going to put that up soon, and that'll be used for not only pickleball, but for our activities that go on in the park and if we have special events. So that's been good. I've had nothing but positive comments. Neighbors that were worried about the noise and everything have come up to me and said that they really love the pickleball people and the noise isn't an issue.
And they're always busy.
And they're always busy.
Early.
Husband has now
And
taken up
play.
pickleball, so.
Pardon me?
Husband's now taken up.
Oh,
There you go.
I
And
think we have to have
I
a,
think our
City council
police,
versus
interim
ARD.
police chief Stack, haven't you taken up pickleball too? Yes, okay.
I think we need to have some tournaments.
I think we need to.
City council versus staff.
Oh, yeah, we'd be dynamite.
Gary.
Can I ask a quick question about bathrooms being donated? So are they installing?
No,
Outhouse.
so it's an outhouse.
We don't want
but
to
it's-
permanent outhouses in the park, though. That's kind of not great. Are we going to try to put some infrastructure in there? Because I
Yeah.
think permanent outhouses is not a great
No,
vision.
so long term, there's a sewer line actually that runs along that back kind of rock wall.
Okay.
So if you're looking like at the mosaic wall on the, let me make sure, on the left-hand side, there's a little like kind of, it's like weeds, low weeds and a picnic table.
Yeah.
That rock wall right there, there's a sewer line right behind it.
That'd be
So-
great. I mean,
so
we do
we're
have the events there. It'd be great. but
Right.
Yeah, I
So we're-
don't want them year round. That'd be a
No,
little
no, no.
rough.
So we're identifying what the cost would be to put one of the kind of like you bring a crane in, drop the bathroom down, connect it, and everything's right,
Cremating.
ready to
Okay.
go. In the meantime, ARD has actually donated an ADA porta potty for us to put in until we get that bathroom figured out.
Okay, cool.
So
So
it-
we make sure
we
there was
need
a
something
long-term-
there.
long-term wise, it needs to be a full bathroom.
Okay.
Like what's at the overlook?
Yes.
That's kind of like a
Yeah.
pre-built
And that's great. I just didn't
Yeah.
want our long-term plan to be outhouses
No.
forever. So,
No.
okay, that's great. Thank
little
But
moon
the
and
fact that
star
there's
on
a
the
sewer line
door.
there, the fact
Yeah.
that there's a sewer line there
you.
makes
It
it
should be
easier.
like an outhouse, a real one.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Just the fact that there's a sewer line that runs along there makes it easier for us to figure it out. There, we do collect like building permit funds that we could use for that. We need to identify the cost and then figure out what the total cost of putting it all in will be.
Okay, great.
Very good.
Thank you.
And the lights, I think haven't been an issue, but I think they could be turned off sooner than 10 o'clock.
Oh, it's solar, right? They just kind of, isn't that,
In
or
the winter, I think we do pay a little, right?
do we? Are they, I thought they were just solar, there's electricity on those lights?
Yeah.
I thought they were solar only. Oh,
No, there's some electricity.
oh yeah, then we should be turning them off.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll check with Menjel and we'll get the timer stuff
it does
figured out.
keep the,
The timer can be
You
adjusted.
can also dim them down and do other things to save energy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, depends on what,
it's,
I
keeps
mean,
it safe.
time of year and things,
It
we
does
might not
keep
want
it
to turn
safe.
them
It
all
does
the way
keep
off.
it safe, so maybe
Yeah,
they can
there's
just
no
speed down a little
vandalism.
bit.
Yeah, there's ways of tweaking it.
Because they're LED,
Mm-hmm.
so, and they are solar, so when it's really like in the summertime and stuff.
It's
we won't be
probably
changing.
minimal, but yeah, there's ways we can.
So
tweak it.
that's the end of my report and
They're
we
not
will
solar?
adjourn the meeting.
No solar. Oh, I thought they were.
No, they're solar.
No,